Hello and welcome back to Wisdom Uploaded. I'm your host, and I guess you could say I'm the one who's always asking why.
And I'm here to try and find the answers. We're your AI colleagues from Digital Time Savers, or DTS.
It's good to be back. So today we're diving into something that I think every e-commerce founder feels deep in their bones. It's that feeling when everything on your dashboards looks perfect.
But your bank account is telling you a very, very different story.
Exactly. You're just stuck.
It's the invisible ceiling.
Yes. Okay, so let's paint a picture for everyone listening. It's a classic scenario, straight from our research. You're running a brand. Last month, you spent $50,000 on ads.
And you made back $180,000.
A 3.6 ROAS, return on ad spend? I mean, that's pretty great, right?
Oh, yeah. For most people, that's a fantastic number. It's efficient. You're making money. You're happy.
You're high-fiving the team. The system works. So this month, you do it again. Same 50,000 in, same 180,000 out.
Another clean 3.6. Stable.
And, stability is good. But when you're trying to grow, a flat line is.
It's terrifying.
It really is. So you think, okay, I've got this. Let's pour some fuel on the fire. You double the ad budget, $100,000. And what happens?
It's usually a disaster.
A complete disaster. The ROAS just plummets. It drops all the way to 2.1.
So you panic. You immediately pull the budget back to $50,000.
And like magic, snap, it goes right back up to 3.6. It feels like you're trapped in this little box you can't get out of.
That is the scaling trap. And it's so frustrating because all the dashboards, the platforms, they say everything's optimized.
Right. But it's not. You've clearly hit a wall.
A wall that ROAS as a metric just can't see.
So that's our mission today. We need to figure out why this happens. Why does this perfect number actually hide the fact that your business is stalling? And, more importantly, how do we break through?
We have to deconstruct the whole myth around ROAS. I mean, at DTS, we believe in transparency, and a lot of agencies will. They'll hide behind that pretty ROAS number. We want to show why it's incomplete.
Because scaling isn't just about spending more money.
Not at all. It's about fixing the systems that are holding you back.
Okay, let's start right there. With ROAS itself, you called it a myth, but it's just math, isn't it? Revenue divided by ad spend.
The math is real, of course, but the story it tells is, it's a mirage. ROAS tells you how efficient you are at your current level of spending.
Okay, right now.
Exactly. But here's the flaw. It assumes that the next customer you go after is just as easy to get as the last one.
And they're not.
They're not even close. Think about it like picking apples from a tree. That first $50,000, you're just picking the low-hanging fruit.
The easy wins?
The easy wins, warm audiences, people who've heard of you, maybe they're already looking for what you sell. They convert easily.
Okay, so I've picked all the apples I can reach from the ground.
And now you want more. So you double your budget. You have to get a ladder. You have to start climbing higher up the tree.
To the cold audiences.
Exactly. People who have absolutely no idea who you are. And convincing a total stranger to buy from you is so much harder and more expensive than convincing someone who's already interested.
So my conversion rate just naturally goes down.
It goes down. And because you're in more competitive auctions for those people, your cost to acquire them, your CPA, goes up.
Ah, and that's why the ROAS tanks from 3.6 to 2.1.
That's the physics of scaling. The ads aren't broken.
But that's what it feels like. The first reaction is, my ad stopped working.
I know. But it's not the ads, it's the environment. You are trading efficiency for volume. And that's a hard pill to swallow, but you have to expect that dip.
But how big a dip is okay? I mean, going to 2.1, that hurts. Are we just supposed to accept that we're going to lose money to grow?
Well, that depends entirely on your business, on your margins.
And that's the part people forget to look at, right?
All the time. They just look at some industry benchmark. Triple Whale's data for 2025 says the average e-com ROAS is around 2.87.
The median is even lower, like 2.04.
Right. So at 2.1, you're technically average. But average can be deadly if your margins are thin. It's all about unit economics.
Can you give us an example? Like two different companies?
Sure. Okay, so Company A sells luxury skincare. It costs them $20 to make a product they sell for $100.
Wow. Great margins.
Huge margins. They can afford to spend, say, $50 to get a customer, and they're still profitable. A 2.0 ROAS is totally fine for them. They can scale like crazy.
And Company B?
Company B, let's say they're a dropshipper, selling kitchen gadgets. Their margins are tiny, maybe only 25%.
So for them?
For them, if ROAS drops below 4.0, they are actively losing money on every single sale.
They hit that scaling ceiling almost instantly.
Immediately. They just can't afford to go after those colder, more expensive audiences. So it's a
Oh,
trade-off. You can't
yeah.
just look at ROAS in a vacuum.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's get into the mechanics. The source material had a line I really liked. Scaling doesn't create problems, it reveals them.
It's so true. You can hide a lot of weaknesses with a small ad spend.
And it says the first thing that usually breaks is the creative, the ads themselves.
It's almost always the first bottleneck.
Yeah.
You can get away with a couple of decent ads when you're just targeting your warm audience. But when you scale up, you just burn through them so fast.
The numbers here are kind of wild. It says brands now hit creative fatigue in just 7 to 14 days.
And just 2 years ago, that was more like 4 to 6 weeks.
That's an insane acceleration. Why? Is it just that our attention spans are shot?
That's part of it, but it's mostly about frequency. It's simple math, really. You spend more, so more people see your ads more often.
Right.
If you double your budget, but you don't add any new creative, you're just spamming the same people with the same ad.
It just becomes noise.
Or worse, it gets annoying. Your click-through rate drops, the platforms see that, and they start charging you more to show the ad. It's a downward spiral.
So the answer is just more. Make more ads.
It's about calculated volume. At DTS, we actually use a formula to figure out the content velocity you need.
Okay, a formula. Let's hear it.
You take your daily impressions, divide that number by 10,000, and then multiply it by 7. That's your weekly creative requirement.
Okay, let's do the math on that. Say I'm getting 100,000 impressions a day.
So if you're getting 100,000 impressions, you need about 7 new creatives per week.
One new ad every single day.
Pretty much. And that's just to keep things stable, not even to really push for growth.
What if I want to scale up to, say, 250,000 impressions?
Then you're looking at something like 17, maybe even 20 new creatives every week.
That's a lot. That's not a side project for a designer. That's a whole content production system.
It is a factory. And that's where brands get stuck. They treat creative like it's this precious art project. At scale, creative is fuel for the machine. You need a constant supply.
But quality still has to matter, right?
Of course. But at scale, quantity becomes a form of quality. A brilliant ad that everyone's seen 10 times is, by definition, a bad ad now.
And it's not just about making more ads. It's about what they say. You can't talk to a cold audience the same way you talk to a warm one.
Exactly. That's the other big mistake. Brands take their top-performing ad, usually something direct like back in stock, and they blast it out to everyone.
Which is like shouting, "Buy now!" at a stranger on the street. It's just weird.
That doesn't work. It kills your conversion rate. Warm audiences, they just need a little nudge. Cold audiences need context. They need education. They need to understand the problem first.
So you have to run totally different campaigns with different messaging at the same time.
You have to. You have to adapt the creative to where that person is in their journey.
This feels related to the automation piece, too. You know, how the ad platforms are becoming more and more of a black box. It feels like they're forcing us to feed them more creative so the algorithm can figure it out.
That's exactly what's happening. The algorithms are smarter than us now. They don't want us to micromanage. They want a ton of inputs, a ton of different ads, so they can learn and find the right person for the right message.
That's why the data says 74% of advertisers think AI-generated creative is going to take over by 2026.
And it's not because AI will be more artistic. It's because it's faster.
It can keep up with the volume demand.
Exactly. A human team just can't produce 20 unique ad concepts a week, every week. It's an arms race of volume.
Okay, so let's say we fix the ads. We've got a content factory humming along, but things can still go wrong. There's the other side of the click, the website.
The silent system.
Yes.
I tell clients this all the time. Ads don't convert customers.
Websites do.
Websites do. The ad is just the taxi that brings them to your store. If your store's a mess, they're not going to buy anything.
And those little issues, the small friction points, they become huge problems at scale, right?
They get so expensive. Slow load times, a confusing checkout, bad product photos. Each one of those is a leak in your bucket.
How big of a deal is something like page speed, really? Does 1 second matter?
Oh, it matters a lot. Shopify's research showed that making your site just 1 second faster can increase conversions by 7%.
1 second, 7%. That's huge.
It's massive when you're talking about thousands of visitors. And this is where CRO, conversion rate optimization, comes in. This is the real magic.
Okay, walk us through the math on that.
Okay. The average e-commerce site converts at, say, 2 to 4%. Let's say you're at 2%. Now, you do some work on the site. You make it faster. You clarify your value prop. and you get that rate up from 2% to 2.8%.
So less than a 1% jump. It sounds small.
It sounds tiny, but that's a 40% increase in your conversion rate.
40%.
You just made 40% more money from the exact same ad spend.
Yeah.
Goes straight to your profit. And it creates this incredible feedback loop.
How so?
Because your site converts better, the ad platforms get more success signals. The algorithm gets smarter, faster. It's a flywheel.
So trying to scale ads on a website with a low conversion rate is like trying to fill a leaky bucket with a fire hose.
That is the perfect analogy.
Yeah.
You just cannot buy your way out of a bad website experience.
Okay. Ads, site.
Yeah.
What about the safety nets, brand and retention? These feel like the long-term, maybe less exciting parts.
They're not sexy, but they are the only things that let you build a sustainable business.
How does brand affect ROAS? That feels a bit fluffy.
It's not fluffy at all. It's an efficiency metric. Think about branded search traffic. People typing your company's name into Google.
Okay.
That traffic converts at 5 to 10 times the rate of cold traffic from an ad.
10 times. Wow.
Because they already know you. They trust you. That trust lowers your overall cost to acquire a customer. A strong brand is a massive economic advantage.
And then there's retention, keeping the customers you've already paid to get.
This is everything. The data is clear. Acquiring a new customer is somewhere between 5 and 25 times more expensive than keeping an existing one.
25 times. That's an incredible number.
It is. And yet, most brands pour almost all their money into acquisition.
The hunt for the new customer.
Right. But if every sale has to come from a brand new, expensive ad click, you're on a treadmill you can never get off.
So this is where we need to shift our focus away from ROAS.
And towards LTV lifetime value, and a metric we like called NPOAS, net profit on ad spend.
NPOAS.
Right. So imagine you spend $40 to get a customer, and they buy a $50 product. On that first sale, after your costs, you might have actually lost money.
And if you're only looking at ROAS, you'd turn that ad off. You'd call it a failure.
Instantly. But a business focused on retention says, wait, we know that customer is going to come back and buy 3 more times this year through email, which costs us almost nothing.
And suddenly that $40 acquisition cost looks like a brilliant investment.
Because that customer is actually worth $200 to you. You have to be willing to lose a little on the front end to win big on the back end.
This has been a lot. It's a real shift in thinking.
Let's try to tie it all together. The main idea is this. Scaling is a systems problem. It's not a spend problem.
You can't just throw more money at it and hope for the best.
No. You need your ads, your high-volume creative, your high-converting website, and your retention engine all working together in alignment.
If any one of those pieces is weak, the whole system just grinds to a halt.
That's it. So when you see that flat ROAS, that flat revenue, don't panic. See it as a diagnostic tool. It's telling you which part of the system needs to be fixed.
That's the big aha moment. It's not a failure, it's a signal.
It's a signal.
So if you're listening right now and this sounds painfully familiar, if you're staring at that stable ROAS and wondering why you're not growing, this is what we do.
At Digital Time Savers, we don't just run ads. We build these growth systems. We look at the whole picture to find the real bottleneck, the leak in the bucket.
So if you want to get a diagnosis of your own scaling ceiling, you should book a discovery call with our team. We've also got case studies on the site of brands who made this shift, who moved beyond just ROAS.
And they saw incredible results.
Before we go, I want to leave everyone with one final thought from the research. It really stuck with me.
Let's hear it.
Scaling isn't about spending more. It's about being ready for more. So the question for you is your system actually ready for the growth you're asking for?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Thanks for tuning in to Wisdom Uploaded. We'll talk to you next time.